And welcome to MySQL data connection in Python. Let me show you guys how this works. Okay, right here I do have some duplicate names. You can see Phyllis Frogner. There's duplicated names there. So, but the difference is there's two different student IDs, so we can always delete one. There we go. And who else do we have with duplicated name? Santana Montana. Get rid of that as well. There. Okay, let's see. Let's say Larry. We need to carry out some amendment to the address, so that's supposed to be maybe 192 Carlton High Road. That may be the telephone number there. And that's all we need to do for Larry. So let's see what's going to happen once we click on update. There we go, look at that. It's updated. And we can reset. Okay, we seem to have a lot of data. We need to look for a particular student. That's 75520. We click on search. There, that happens to be Samson Montana. Okay, so display works. Now let's add new. So I'm going to reset and let's add new learner there. So let's say this learner's name is, let's enter the ID number there and the name. Let's say the name is William. There, all we just need to do is to click on add. And right there, okay, record entered successfully, and we can also see William's details right there. Okay, let's start work with a new project. So I'm going to exit out. Yeah, and right there, let's import as follows. So I'm going to say from tkinter. I'm going to be importing it all. I will also import ttk so that I can use the, and then just need one drop down widget there, and that's the Combobox. Then I'm also going to import the message box. So I'm going to say from tkinter, copy that and paste, dot message box. So let's grab that. There we go. And I will then import Pymysql. So you must install Pymysql on your system if you want to connect to a database. Now I'm going to create a class. I will just call that class connection, or maybe connector db. There. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is to define my function. So just enter the define in there, hold down the shift key and enter underscore, then you enter your initialize function underscore, open up a bracket, and I'm going to say self comma roots there, and enter column there. Okay, the next thing now is I'm going to now define the name of my project. It's going to be known as roots. So let's enter self.root equals root. Right, now the next thing I want to do is right underneath here, because I want the title, like you see here on title, I want my title to be centered. Okay, so I'm going to create a variable there. Just call it space. Okay, title, maybe title space, something like that. Title space, that's cool. Or space title, whatever. So just enter speech mark space speech mark. So that's my title space. Now the next thing is going to be, I'm going to copy that and let's enter self.root.title. Open up a bracket, and I'm going to make that approximately 120. I'm going to then multiply it by title space there, then plus whatever the name of my, or whatever my title is going to be called. So in this case, my title is going to be called MySQL Connector. There we go. Now the next thing, let's say self dot, undo that, that's got to be self. And now I want to define my geometry, so I'm going to make that dot geometry, and the size for my project is going to be, let's make that about 776 by 700, and I'm going to say the coordinate is going to be plus 300 plus 0. There we go. So we have it somewhere here. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to enter again self dot root dot, I'm going to call that resizable. I'm going to make both width and height, I'm going to make both of them false, comma, and the height is going to be false as well, equals false. So you won't be able to resize it. The choice is yours. I'm just showing you guys, those who are new to Python, how to do every single thing there. Okay, let's round up this project. So right underneath here, let's press enter. I'm going to say if enter a space underscore underscore the name of my project underscore underscore equals the main project. You can see an apostrophe there, main project underscore underscore, enter your apostrophe again, and you enter a column here. You can see I'm missing out one underscore here, 2 underscores, I mean, there we go. So you have to be careful. Name within 2 underscore, an apostrophe, 2 underscore, main, and underscore as well, 2 of those. So I'm going to say root equals tk, the T uppercase, the K is lowercase, and the name of my application now, that is going to be equals to connector DB, and connector DB is going to be, let's say connector DB there, child of roots there, and just press enter. Then we want to get the root to loop all over again. There we go. Alright, that's my application ready, so I'm going to save it. The interface is ready. Let's save this now. Save, and I'm just going to call it MySQL Database Connector. Let's make that connector. There we go. Save. Let's run it and see. Let's hope there's no error. Okay, we have an error. Let's see why. Oh, look at the spelling of resizable. Close that. an S is missing right here. There we go. So let's try it one more time. There we go. That's my form right there, and as you can see, look at my title, dead center, right there. Okay, let's assume I didn't do it that way. This was going to happen. Supposing I get rid of all of this. Let's get rid of that, and you see, cut it off. Go back in there, run it, and you see it will be aligned to the left. Look at that. I kind of like want it dead center. And on the other hand, it's a learning curve for my viewers out there, those who don't understand that trick. Alright, so let's create our main frame. I like my project to be within a frame and well lined up. So the very first frame that I'm going to create, I'm going to call that main frame. Let's see. So main frame, the widget you want to use to create the main frame is called frame, and I'm going to, this main frame is going to be right inside self.root, comma, I'll then enter a border, make that about 10, comma, the width is going to be, let's copy width here. Okay, let's copy width and height and change things around. Paste. The width is going to be about, let's go for approximately 700 and yeah, something like that. I can always change that. And the height, I'm going to make that about 700. Right. And comma, I'm going to say relief, that is equals rigid, comma, and I will then make the background, I'm going to say bg background equals cadet blue. This background, you guys won't be seeing the blue background as time goes on because everything will be covered. I just want it as a line for the edge of the frame. So that's a main frame dot grid there. If I save and run this now, you will see the color cadet blue, but as time goes on you won't be able to see that cadet blue anymore. Okay, that's fine, close that. So I'm going to just copy this and add more frames. So we speed that up. Okay, right there, those are the rest of the frame. Okay, that's how it all looks like for now. Okay, so I'm going to run it. Let's run it and you guys see what I'm talking about. There we go. Maybe I should increase this size a little bit. So let's make that about, come back in here, just make it maybe 800 and run. Let's see. There we go. Right. Okay guys, let's start work with some widgets. So right underneath here, I'm going to create my very first widget, and that's going to be a label that I will use for my title. So I'm going to call that self dot LBL title, let's use lowercase, equals label, and this very label is going to be a child of title, comma, I need a font, and the font is going to be an area, and I also need a text in there. The size of my font is 40, the text is going to be MySQL maybe connector or connections. So let's just copy this. Alright, equals MySQL connection, and I'm going to put a border around it, make that about 7. Okay, let's just run this up. Come in here, there, dot grid, row is going to be 0, comma, and the column is going to be 0 as well. And I'm going to get it padded so that I can get the title centered. I'm going to make that about maybe 132. Yeah. So let's run it and see how that's going to look like now. There we go. That's my title, dead centered. Close that. There we go. Right. Okay, I'm going to create some more widget. So I'm going to copy this. Just paste that right underneath here. And let's add a bit of room here so that we can see. Okay. Now this very widget that's going to be, okay, let's just give it a name. I'm just going to call it student ID. It's got nothing to do with students, it's just how to connect to database. So I'm going to call that student ID. Okay. Now let's give this student ID as well. And this is going to be student ID. So we're just using that to understand how one can connect to a database. The font is also changed to about 14. And now the frame is going to be with within a different frame completely. That's going to be left frame 1. There we go. Oh, here, change it here. Right. And the other thing is, I think maybe I should align it, or let's say strictly west equals west, comma, and I'll get it padded by 5 anyway, equals 5. There. Okay. Now I also need a text box for it. Copy that, paste it right underneath there. I'm not going to call it text box. It's meant to be officially known as entry, so I keep calling it text box. It's entry, so that's why I'm entering ENT as the abbreviation, and this one is going to be entry. Alright, I have my entry there, so it's going to be right inside left frame 1 as well. The font is the same. There is no text for that. There will be text variable though. So this one, I'm going to make the border about 5, comma, and the width, I'm going to make it about 44, and let's justify the text. Justify the text to maybe left. Yeah, okay, left, that's fine. There we go. And let's run this up. I will come back to the text variable anyway. So in here is going to be on, okay, this, the label is going to be on row number 1, and this will be column 1. Okay, row 1, column 1. There. Okay, let me just try it out. Run. Let's see. There we go. Alright, that's fine. So I'm just going to copy that now. Just copy, paste for the others. And the next one is going to be, I'm going to call that first name. First name. Right, change this to first name as well. First name here, and this will be first name. Okay, if this is 1, this will be 2 and 2 here, and this will be 3 and 3 here. This is surname. Okay, copy and just change it around. And there. So let's run this and see how those 3 widgets look like. So only about 6 I'll be putting together anyway. Let's see. Good. That's fine. Close that. I'm now going to copy all of these and change it around. Come right down here, paste, and I'll just pick that up and get back to you guys. Alright, there we go guys. Let me run it and show you how it all looks like now. There we go. But you see this gender, I'm going to change that to a Combobox. So I'm going to delete the gender. Let's come right down here, delete this one, delete everything there, delete that, delete this one, and I'm going to say equals Combobox. So that will be TTK. Okay, that will be TTK dot Combobox. Right, now the width, let's specify the width. That's, I'm going to make that 42. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of all of these for now. And what else do I want? I want the location is there. Let's change this name, the name of this one to, that's going to be CBO, and this is CBO as well. CBO. Now, okay, this is, I'm going to get rid of this for now. Right. Now, the state of it, I'm going to make the state read-only. Okay, read-only, so that no one can make any amendment to it. Okay, come out of here and let's enter another. Let's enter the value. So self dot Combobox, that is gender. And the value in there is going to be, our value is going to be as follows. That's equals, the very first one will be nothing, so let's put those in a bracket. First value is empty, comma, then followed by female, comma, and then male. There. Alright, so the selected value, I want it to be the current value, that will be 0, 1, 2. Okay, let the selected value be dot current, save dot combobox.current, and that will be 0, and that's where the combo box will be. Row 4, column 1. So let's see, hopefully that will be sorted by now. There we go, that's my combo box. So I can now select whatever I want. Okay, that's fine. I think this one is kind of like short. Let's see, maybe we'll make it about 43. That might be too long. That's the other problem. Let's see. Okay, like I said, it's a bit too long. Alright, but let's create a button or buttons. Come right down here, just get that out of the way. I'm going to, because I also need to use a tree view, so let's say we take care of the table first. The widget used for table is known as Treeview. There. Okay, and I'm going to add some. Let's add a scroll to it, to the x-axis alone. Let's say x-axis. Add a scroll bar, and that very scroll bar is going to be right inside frame, left frame, just a left frame. There we go. And the orientation of the scroll bar is going to be horizontal. Yeah, I think that's correct. There, that's fine. Okay. The next thing I want to do now is I'm going to call my table self.student. Let's say self.student underscore record. And records equals, let's say ttk dot Treeview, that's the widget. Okay, like I said earlier on, because I named it table, but students is not about students, it's about connecting, or it's about connecting to your database. I will show you guys the database as we go ahead. So let's get it to be resident inside left frame, and the height, I'm going to make that about 12. Column, or let's say columns, is going to be equals as follows. So the very first column, I'm going to call it stdid, student ID. Close that, comma. The next one is going to be known as first name. Close that, comma, and the next one will be surname. Correct that. Then we have address, close that. And what else do we have? We're going to have gender. Press enter, and let's go for the gender. Let's go all the way. Okay, gender and mobile phone. Now I will now round up that. I'm going to say x scroll, that's just the name, command, that is equals to my scroll bar right there. So I've just linked my scroll bar to my tree view, and I will then enter dot set and close that off. Okay. Alright, let's round up this scroll bar. Come right down here, paste there, dot park, and that will be side. That will be to the right. Okay. Now then, this one I'm going to have to change this to vertical. Okay, that should be vertical. It's not. Okay, that'll be vertical, and this is going to be equals right, comma, and let's fill equals to the y-axis. And I also need to change this one. This one should be y, and here will be y as well. Right. And let's change this to this one should be y and y here, because I want it to be vertically positioned. Alright, let's make sure it's all correct. Okay, there. Now let's create the heading for my table. So I'm going to copy this, come right down here, paste that, and that will be dot heading. And the very first heading is going to be std comma, the text content, and that is going to be equals to student ID. Let's make that a capital letter, student ID. There. That's my very first one. Okay, so let's copy it around and just change it around for the others. In total is 6. Let's get that indented properly. And there, I need to close all of this up. Close that, come down here, close this as well. And this is going to be first name. Let's grab that, paste it in there. First name. The next one will be surname. And we have address. Close this off. And we have gender. Okay, gender. Then we have mobile phone. There. Okay, that's fine. Now let's define that. Those are my headings. So I now want to show the headings. So I'm going to copy these, or maybe even copy everything, then change it around. Copy that. Come right down here, paste. And this is going to be student record show as follows. Let's enter apostrophe here, there, and square bracket, and what I want you to show is going to be headings in a that should be headings. The next, there we go. Right. Okay, I think that's correct. That shouldn't give us any syntax error. Now the next thing is I'm going to copy, maybe copy all of this and just change it around. Copy. Now I want to define my columns. Paste. Instead of headings here, that will become column. Each column there, and this very one is going to be this. Then we define the width of this. I'm going to make that equals about 70. Right, So let's repeat the same thing for the others, and we can change it around. And looks like the table is almost taken care of. And let's change this. I'm a bit slow with it for the beginner so that you guys can catch up. So this is the table. It's quite good. If you know how to create a table, that's very good. That's one problem out of the way. So make that 100, and I'm going to make this 100 as well. And the other one 100, and I'll leave the rest. There we go. Now let me round up my table here. I'm going to come down here and just round it up. Copy, paste, and I don't know why. Come on. And I'm going to pack it there. I say pack. Open up a bracket. I want you to fill it to both sides. And I also want it expounded equals 1. Close. Alright. Okay. I think we're missing out. Yeah. Alright, have a good look at the table from here and bring it down here. Then we run it and see how that looks like. I've actually speed up this, just populate the right names here just like I have here. So we'll run that. And let's see. There we go, look at that. So you see here, I just need to enter buttons. So I'm going to create one button with you guys and I'll speed up the rest. The very first button that will go in there, I'm going to call it self dot btn. I'm going to call it add new, and add new equals button, and this button is resident inside. I think that would be right frame. Where is it? Right frame A. This very one. Copy that. Bring it down. Paste. Okay. What else do we need for the button? Let's get it padded. First thing first, let's copy this. I'm going to need the text as well. I'm going to need that. So copy all of that. Come right down and paste it right here. Comma. Paste. And the text content, make that about 16. The border, I think 5 might be too much. Let's set it for around here. That. And I'm also going to get it padded. Just make that to the y-axis by 1. Okay, to the y-axis 1. And to the left axis, let's make that about 24. That might be too much, but let's see. 24. Okay. What about the width? Comma. Come down here. Width equals 8. Height equals 2. Yep. And the text on this, I have text in here already, so let's change this text to add new. Copy this and change this to add new. There. And what else do I need? For now, that's it. Now I'm going to add grill to it, so let's maybe grab this, copy, come right down here, paste there, and the very first one is going to be 0. Close that. Maybe let's pack this as well equals 1. I think that will do for this for now. Run. That's my very first button. Hopefully it should work fine. There we go. Alright, I'm now going to copy that very button. So copy. So I need 6 more. So copy that. Come right down here. Okay. Let's just get it indented properly. Oops, undo that. Indent. Okay, let's copy these two. Paste. And I'm going to align it properly. One more. In total, I think it's about 7. There. Right. Okay, this one is row 0. This one be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There. So let's run it and see. Then I'll just change the details around. There we go. See that? So I'm now going to change the details around. Okay? I'll just make it a little bit more prettier. Close that. The next one here is going to be known as display. Yeah. And change this to display. Okay? That's all I'm doing. So I'm going to run it. And you guys see that. And I'll speed up the rest, okay? Close that. Close. Okay. That is it. The buttons are ready. So let's run it and see how that's going to look like. See. There we go. But the other thing is I don't like this. I think we need to get it wedged properly. So let's go back up here. That is it right there. The height is 12. I'm going to change it to about maybe 14. And I also need to change. Let's go to the left frame, the frame for it. Let's increase it a little bit. And that is it. So let's make these. I'm going to make that about 12 and make these maybe 9. Let's get rid of these ones. They're not serving any purpose for now. Let's run it and see. There. That's much better. Okay, now let me start work with variable declaration and we can put together some functions. So the first thing I'm going to do right underneath the frames, I'm going to declare my variables. So the first one I've just called our student ID equals, it's going to be a string variable. There we go. And let's go for first name equals that. Okay, and so on. Okay, those are all my variables taken care of. Now, let's start work with function declaration. So the very first function I'm going to take care of, that will be my, let's go for exit. For the exit, let's say I exit. There. That should be an F. Alright. Come right down here. And I exit equals tkinter. Okay, this very tkinter that is declared up there. Okay, now I am making use of it. tkinter equals, or iExit equals tkinter.messagebox dot ask yes or no. Ask yes or no. Double click on that, and let's come in here at the very first argument. That will be MySQL connection. Okay, and I'm going to enter the second argument, which is going to be confirm if you want to exit. There, that's the second argument. Alright, if selection made equals, if it's greater than 0, then root dot destroy, enter parentheses and return. There we go. So exit is taken care of. I'm going to copy that. Let's go straight to our button called exit and call the command. That's exit there. Let's enter command equals exit. There. So I'm going to run that, and let's make sure the exit works. Click on exit. Nope. Click on exit again. Yes. Exit is working. Now let's come down here. Okay, the next, that will be, I'm going to call that reset. The next function is going to be for my reset. There we go. And for the reset, I'm just going to call all of these. Let's say entry. Copy that and paste that right here. Entry, that is going to become dot delete equals comma end. Okay, I'm going to repeat the same thing for the others and just change the names around. One more, and this will be different. Paste that in there. That's going to be dot set equals there. Right. And this is going to be first name. Surname. Address. This one is going to be mobile. There we go. Okay, that is that taken care of. But I notice some of my widgets are still called in TXT. That must be an error. Very bad attitude, or very. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press Ctrl H and just replace that. Every single TXT, replace them with ENT. Replace all. There we go. All done. You see, I got used to that using event-driven programs like Visual Basic, C# and so on. Okay, so that is taken care of. So let's call this inside a command, the very command that is known as reset. So come right down here, comma equals there. That's taken care of. Now you see all of these variables are meant to assign them to each of the widgets here. So let's come in here and just say comma text variable equals that. That's the very first one. I might as well just press enter. So I'm going to have to repeat the same thing for the others. So let's just copy and paste. So this is going to be comma, press enter, paste. That's for first name. First name. Come right down here. We have surname next. Comma, press enter. Surname, address, comma, press enter. And this one as well. Then we'll come and change it around. And the last one here, comma, press enter. And this is mobile. Copy, paste. Okay, the next one is gender. Copy, paste it right there. And here, address. So that's me now assigning all of my variables that were declared. This is surname. Paste. And first name is taken care of. Student ID is taken care of. Alright. So that's fine. Now, let's run it and see. I'm just going to enter some values in there. Then try the command button called reset. Just enter whatever in there. And that's good. So that's working. Exit. Yes. Alright. Okay, those are the easy ones. Now let's take care of our database. I'm going to show you guys the database I intend to use. This is it right here. Okay, let me show you the layout of that very database. You guys should know how to create a database by now, so it's no big deal. Those are my fields. Okay, using MySQL. You can also use PHPMyAdmin. The choice is yours, anyone you use. The only difference is you might not have to enter a password into PHPMyAdmin. Apart from that, it's all the same anyway. Maybe one of these days I will knock one of those out for you guys to see. And there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube anyway. Okay, now the next one here, I'm going to just enter. So the name of that is going to be add data. There. And this very add data, I'm going to use an if statement. If surname, no, ID. Let's go for student ID first. If the student ID dot get equals nothing, equals nothing, or the first name dot get equals nothing as well, equals nothing. Okay, let's do another one for surname, and the same thing applies to the surname. Let's copy all of this and copy surname separately, and surname happens to be empty as well. Enter a column in there. Then we want a message from MyTkinter. I'm just going to copy this and change the message around. Now, the dialog message, I'm going to change that to show error. Okay, if I press enter, I should be able to see something that says show error. It's a show. That's it right there. Look at it. Okay, so that's an error for an error message there. So in this case, you can just enter, let's say, enter correct details. Enter correct details. That's it. Done. Okay, the next one is, that is if is empty. If it's not empty, what I want the system to do, I'm going to just say else. I'm going to now create an SQL con for my connection. That's what I'm going to call my variable. I want you to connect to Pymysql dot connect, and I want you to grab the host, and the host happens to be my local host. There, that is the host. Look, there should be an A here. The local host, which means my system, anyway, my laptop. And the next one is user. My user is going to be the root, equals root. Okay, and finally, this is very important, your password. If you are using MySQL, then you need a password. So my password that I've made up, there we go. That's the password that I'm going to be using, or that I've already installed on my system, comma, and the name of my database, I've actually called that database trainee. Okay, not trainer, it's called training. So I'm going to say database equals trainee, and close that there. So it's looking fine for now. So okay, there we go. Now the next thing is, I'm now going to say cursor equals MySQL con dot cursor, just like you have in using SQLite. That's how it is here as well. You would have seen it on my system. Then cursor dot, or like you now to execute, and this is where we now have to enter our SQL statement. So in there, I'm going to ask you to insert into my table that is called trainee. Okay, and enter the following values. And those values, because we don't know, I'm just going to represent them with that comma. I have 6 of those, so let's copy, paste, paste, paste. There we go. Close that. Close this, comma, and I'm now going to list where those data will come from. Those data will come from my variable here. There's the variable. There we go. I'm going to copy all of this. Come right down here and just paste it right underneath here. Paste. And I will then change some values around. There. So I'm going to ask you to get those values from these variables. Paste, comma, must enter a comma there. Okay, repeat the same thing for the others. There we go. See how easy it is, guys. So yeah, if you notice, I've opened up one parenthesis here and another one, and that means I will have to close it twice. There, closed. Now we now need to get our connectors. Action connector to execute connector dot commit, and you also need to close the connector. So I'm going to come right down here and let me say dot closed. There. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, the choice is yours, you don't have to, but this is just practice. I'm going to copy this just to display a message box saying, just to display a message saying, well, data updated or whatever. Paste that, and let's change this. I'm going to get rid of that because it's not asking. This is an information, so I'm going to use the method show information. That's it, show an info. So in there, I'm going to just say record entered successfully. Successfully. There. And that is it. Okay, I'm going to try out this function that we just created. Copy that and let's go straight down to the button. And right here, that's the button there. Comma, let's say command equals there. Okay, so if I run it now, I should be able to click on that very button. Once I enter some data in there, let's say, oh, how come I have 5? It should be 6. It's not going to give me the right thing. So let's say the name is King. King Morehouse. It's going to give me an error because surname is not there. If I click on this, there we go, I have an error, so something is wrong. Let's go up here. Okay, this is supposed to be in a frame on its own. That's supposed to be on its own frame. This is why I always enter lines. So instead, this should have been 0, and this would be 0. 0, 0, and this is 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, this will be 2, 2, and 3, 3. Okay, so let's run it and see. Run. I should have 5, 6 altogether. There we go. Alright, but there's something. This is too long, so let's come right here. Remember me changing this to 14 instead of 12. Make that 12. Run. Okay, so let's try out our database. Okay, but just before I enter any data, let me show you guys the database. That is the database. So we're going to make up some new names. Take a good look at the database. Okay, because we're going to have to refresh it. I'll close that and let's come in here. I'm going to enter 9,000. Okay, let's say 90,000 as the reference number or student ID number. And the name, let's look for a name we will remember. Let's call it John Johnson. An address, I'm going to say number 19, Little Kilburn, London. And mail, and right here the phone number. There. So I'm going to click on add. It's now going to display here. There we go. That's it. Record entered successfully. Click on OK. The record is there. So let's come in here. You won't be able to see that until we refresh it. So I'm going to kind of like refresh the whole lot and open it back, and that should be 9,000. 90,000. Let's come down here. There we go. That's it. John Johnson. There. 19 Little Kilburn. So that's it right there. So the database is working. That's fine. Okay. And let's create another function that I would refer to as DisplayData. So I want to copy from here down here and just come right down here. Paste that in there, and I'm going to maybe copy these ones as well. Paste, and let's modify. So this we have to go get rid of all of this and change this to DisplayData. Right. Okay, this is all correct up to here. I'm going to get rid of this, so that should be select from trainee and get rid of all of this and this. That goes to okay, select from trainee, right, and let's declare a local variable here that I will call that local variable result equals cursor dot fetch. Let's say fetch all there, and if let's get it linked, result is not equals to 0. So that means when we check it and if it's not equals to 0, then this is what we want the system to do. So that will be student record dot delete star self dot, that's actually student record dot get underscore child underscore children, really. There. Now let's use a for loop. For row in result, okay, whatever row we have inside result, student set the student records in set as follows, and that will be comma and comma values equals row. Close that, and that's it. I'm now going to call this. Grab that. Let's go straight down. Go straight down to the button called display. Where is it? There we go. Right here. Comma. Command equals that. Alright. So let's run. Okay. There we go. That's our database. So to view all of the information we have in here, okay, so all we just need to do is to click on this button there. Oh, we don't need this there. Okay, record, no, that's not required. Alright, there we go. So I'm gonna close that and let's take care of the rest. Okay, we'll go right up there and just get rid of this. We don't need that there. Get rid of that there. Okay, let's take care of something else. In the first place, you see this display? I can always call it as well inside my, okay, so that the system officially just displays it automatically on the table. So instead of me clicking on that, but the choice is yours if you want it that way. Okay, now let me show it to you what's going to happen instead of me clicking on the button. So let's run it first. Run. There we go. There, you see that? That automatically displays. But if I comment that out, that means we have to use the button. So the choice is yours either way. That's alright by me. At least you know what to do. So click there. Alright, so that's fine. Now let's continue. Okay, let's go back up there. We now want to be able to click on the table itself. So I'm going to come right down here. Let's call that, I'm going to call that training info, and get it evaluated. Alright, so the first thing is, let's declare a local variable I'm going to call view info, and that is equals to the self.studentRecords, paste, and in there I want the following. I want it to get focused, right? And the next thing is, let's declare another variable. I'm going to call that learner data, and the learner data equals self dot, let's just paste that, self dot student record dot item, and the item is going to be view information, view info. There we go. Now another local variable, I'm going to call that role equals learner data, this very one, paste it there. It's going to be equals to whatever value I have in here, values there, and the very first value is going to be the student ID, this very one here. So I'm going to grab all of this, come right down here and paste, get it indented properly there, and right here is going to be set role, and the very first role is going to be 0. There we go. And repeat the same thing for the others. Copy, that will be 1, and so let's change it. This is 1, and we have 2, 3, 4, and 5 there. So I will now call this very one. Let's get it binded to the table. Let's look for the table. There. Yeah. So right there, I'm going to get this table. Let's copy all of this, paste it here, and we enter bind, and let's open up a bracket, and this very bracket will include the following. First of all, we need to specify, and what we specify will be as follows. So let's enter button release -1 there. Okay, so we can try that out now. So let's run it and see. Run. Okay. There. Display. When I click on this, there we go. Look at it. That's fine. Alright, I'm going to close that. There, that's working. Okay, the next function is going to be for my updates. So I'm going to call that function update. There we go. And for function updates, let's do one thing. Copy all of these. Let's go here. Where is it? Why is my function update here? No, I'm going to move it. Let's put it where my functions are. Cut it off. Functions. There we go. Paste. And I'm just going to copy everything here. Let's see. From here, take it down. Copy. Come right down here and paste it underneath here. Then we modify. For update, in the case of update, that will be the SQL statement will be update, the name of my table, okay, and I'm going to set as follows. Set first name equals %, let's say S, and repeat the same thing for surname and so on. Okay, the only amendment is just me adding all of my fields. There we go. Right, now the next thing I want to do is, all of these are correct apart from this. I have to put this right underneath. Cut that off and just place it right there. There we go. And get rid of this comma there. Okay, you get it. Yes, and that is fine. And I'm going to change this information here. Okay, record updated successfully. There. Okay, what else do we need to do? Okay, we can just take care of, let's call this, I'm going to call this inside the update button. Scroll right down, update, command equals update. Right. Okay, let's try out the update function. Run. Okay, display and grab anything in there that is Samson. Okay, let's change his surname to Jonathan. There. Alright, and maybe change his phone number. There we go. Now click on update. That's Samson right there. So we expect the surname and the telephone number to change. There we go. Look at that. Surname change and the telephone number changes. Okay, we now need to deal with 1, 2. So we may have to just speed that up. Okay, let's scroll to our function there. And I'm going to, for the delete, I'm just going to copy. Let's copy this and change things around. Paste. And this, I'm going to change the name to delete db. So db. And in here, change the SQL statement to delete. That will be from my table. So I'm going to get rid of this, all of this, delete from where my student ID equals student ID. So let's enter that in here. That will be comma, and that will be student ID dot get there, and close that off. Now the other amendment will be, let's come right down here. There isn't much again. Just copy this and delete those, and in here I cannot then include an information record successfully or record deleted, or okay, let's say record successfully deleted. There we go. Okay, that's deleted taken care of. Let me call this. I'm going to call it right inside the button. Come right down here, and where's my delete button? Okay, there we go. That's it. Comma equals delete. Now that's fine. Let's take care of the search function. So I'm going to come right down here, press enter, and now just call that search db. There. For search db, I'm going to copy all of these as well. Copy, and okay, let's copy everything, and we can modify and just paste it right underneath here. Scroll down and let's start work with our modification. This is fine, that's fine, and this should become select from. That'll be all. Select all from the name of my database where the ID equals this. That is fine. And here, and I need to enter the role. Let's say the role, that's a local variable, equals cursor dot fetch. Let's say fetch all parentheses. Now I need to change this. Let's copy those. I need to get the names of my data right here. Copy those and bring it right down here. Paste. There. Okay. We don't need this. I'm going to get rid of that. Close. Alright, but one other thing is, let's assume the record is not there. We can just say no such record found. No such record found. Now let's do one thing. I'm going to use try as follows. Get all of these indented up to here. Format indent. Okay, and right underneath here I'm going to enter an exception. Except. Enter that. So if the record is now found, I expect this statement to display. So let's grab this statement, cut that off and paste it right underneath here. There we go. Get it indented. Okay. And I can even come in here and just call my reset function. Resets. Yeah. And I should call the reset function inside my delete as well. Let's go here. There's the delete, that's the delete. Paste. Right. Okay. So one thing that is left is, let me call this inside let's attach it to the button. Let's look for search button, come right here, comma, command equals there. So we can now run it because I think I'm all ready to run. It's all done. Yeah, all done. Okay, that's a very detailed tutorial for you guys, so I'm going to run and see. So let's run. Click. There we go, guys. So let's display, and right in here let's look for duplicated data, like I have Tony Montana there. Okay, so click on that and select delete. Yeah, Tony Montana is gone. Okay, so the delete is working. Now let's search for a name in there. So let's come in here and look for 71020. I'm using this very widget here as my search. Okay, now click on search. There we go, look at that. That is working as well. Okay, and we can also update. So let's assume we want to update this data now, or add. Let's update. We have, let's change the details here. So we just change all of these to 55. Let's say Ghost Town Road, or Ghost Town Road. So that is Santana there. So let's look for Santana. That's Santana there. So let's go to update. That is Santana. Look at it. It's number 41 Arlington Road. So let's change that. Update. Come right down here. Look at it. It's changed already. There. Okay. So with that, guys, I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoyed. And please do subscribe to my channel. And you can also join to become a member of the channel. You all have a nice day now. And bye for now.